how you hurt my friend. He said, well, just what do we do after? We don't really. He said, oh man, you're hurting. He said, go ahead and take that little nip. He said, well, maybe a little bit won't hurt, so he took a little nip. That's pretty good. He says, now, he says, Father, are you going to take a little nip? He says, no, I'll just wait till the policeman get here.
Dear Reverend, I had floated at the front of the raft the year before, and Paul was looking out for me, and a couple times a rock would get my back and that, so I said, well, I'll go to the back. Because the year before, I heard the river sing to me the same noises as a child that I had in the Atlantic Ocean. I said, oh, this is divine. And so the next year I said, I'll be behind. And so I hear this, row, row, row your boat, and the raft hit violently. I tried to grab on it, pulled pendants on both, like, ah! And I got sucked under. I attempted to get, there was the center where the kids were. You put the four rafts together, and there was that center point. So I was trying to get to that. But what I did, there was no panic on my side. My inner voice said, stay calm, treat it like an undertow, don't overreact, just stay calm. And I did. And I clawed for the first, I clawed for the second, I clawed for the third, I clawed for the fourth. And I said, I'm not going to make it, and it's okay. And then I came out in front of the boat, and there was this incredible light, like the sunshine. And I saw that, and I reached up. There was light, what I thought was a branch. I thought it was a hand. I didn't know. I reached for that thing, and as I reached, boom! I went under. No breath. And at that point, I consented. I had no reason to live. None. This would be a great way to go. And I said, okay. And 20 seconds later, I came up, and, but the first thought, this is what transformed me. There was an oar coming down, and I grabbed the oar, I clutched, and I grabbed the shoe, I grabbed the life vest, and one of the kids' toys. I stood there on guard, because I go, you know, I was doing that. And then I started hearing some of you, Joe! Joe! So, yeah! Everyone okay? So finally we got, we're okay! And so with that, I went to the shore, and then you guys got free. In the meditations I've been doing through Sister Cecilia, through the placebo book, through that Hanash, whatever his name is, through the Valportino stuff, I have come to believe I went to the other side, and I can step back. This is what I've come to believe. So when you look at your cover there, what do you see? You see all the crap and trash and stuff. You see somebody, maybe a little Joe, climbing this broken ladder, looking over the other side. You see all the heavens and earth that have opened up to us. And it's saying the beginning is near. That was the stall because our first speaker wasn't here. See what you did, Dr. Pat? Okay, is it 2:15? Oh my God, we're starting a few minutes late. But that is in my heart, my witness to you about what's been happening in my life for the past 40-some days. We talked about the little book that we're going to introduce, and starting next week, you see, is Fear Week. And each of those topics in that little book, and the prayer share thing that Ken and I have done twice. Kevin joined us this week. People are going to come at 10:30. Sister's given us blessed oil. We are going to set up that room with people from the past on the one wall, on the other side, people that you get out of bed for now on the one wall, and that is going to become the Sistine Chapel. That is going to become the dedicated place where miracles happen routinely. Now, Bronny and I will start the program. This is the theme that we announced.
I have what you have not.
I have what you have not.
I am what you have,
I am what you are not.
I have taken what you have failed to take. And I have seized what you could never get.
I have taken what you have failed to take. I have seized what you would never get.
Therefore, you suffer, and I am happy. You are despised, and I am praised. You die, and I live. You are nothing, and I am something. And I am all the more something because you are nothing.
You want to know the truth? You suffer. The guy with most boys wins. Got the best education. Got the best car. I dress nice with you with my nice shoes. Look at my $800 suits. Want to know my vacations I go on? You can't do what I do. I'm so lucky, you losers!
And thus, I spend my life admiring the distance between you and me. At times, this even helps me to forget the other men who have what I have not, and who have taken what I was too slow to take, and who have seized what was beyond my reach, who are praised as I cannot be praised, and who live on my death.
Pat, would you read the close? Or sister, we're going to have you read that closing line. And do it, come on, do it like a nun. Right here. Up here with authority. She sees broken Joe, who's so proud of everything he's got, and you pack of losers. Then you come over me, you be the Christ, to tell me the truth. This is all Thomas Merton, by the way. The truth is, yeah.
The man who lives in division, the woman also, is living in death. They cannot find themselves because they are lost. They have ceased to be a reality. The person they believe themselves to be is a bad dream.
Life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. We come here for status. We come here for connection. We come here for love and approval. All the normal things humans have fought forever. So this Thomas Merton, if you don't know who he is, your take-home package tonight has these quotes with the affirmation diploma of what we're going to confer on you today. So that is your real gift. A little red envelope that I give you at the way home. If you get it, whatever, I'll give it tomorrow. But I want you to take it home, read it once tonight, and read it 2 more times, and see if that's it. Because I didn't write it. I touched the keyboard. things came out. But in my prayer life, this is what I had the skill. Everyone has their own envelope with their own little doodad. It has colors at random. It has, it was all just random, put in the printer, hit print, it just went through. If any of that's significant to you, that's great. But that's your closing prize. Each of you have picked out a tangible thing that becomes sacrament for you. Because God's everywhere. God is in us. To make sacrament, we want to have something tangible. So if you needed it to be a watch, it became a watch. If it was a computer, it was a computer. It's a bunch of pots and pans, it's pots and pans. If it was a TV, it was a TV. If it was scrapbooks, a healing diary, and all this stuff, that. What we had, you picked it out, kind of sort of. You may already walking out say, gosh, I got that. That's okay. But I hope that the little thing I give you in the envelope becomes more than cockroach food. Or, just lose out. Well. Could be the first thing you put in the scrapbook, I don't know. But that's it. Now, flown in from Las Vegas, right off the Oprah Winfrey show, Dr. Patrick Overlander. Pat was going to give the opening 3-hour talk. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks very much, Joe. Great to be with you. I just have a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Really a couple stories. And I hope that they're apropos for a company that's on the move and continuing to grow and develop. I'm looking at some of you who I've had the pleasure of meeting before. But these are the 2 points I want to make. The first one comes from the work of a woman. She's a psychology person and she works at the University of Pennsylvania. Her name is Angela Duckworth. And she's done some really amazing research that I want to share with you because it fits me and you and everybody. So here's the story. She has studied up all kind of people, children in grade schools and high schools and colleges. She's studied people who've joined the military, such as West Point and the Naval Academy. And when she has what she has concluded from her research and studying how people succeed is this, and it makes me feel really good to report this to you. She says the most important ingredient in success at a place like West Point or the Naval Academy is what she calls grit or determination. So when you join the Naval Academy or West Point to become an officer in the Army, they test you crazily. They test your IQ and your strength and your personality and whether you're an extrovert or an introvert or how you solve problems. And at the end of the day, the one variable that makes the most difference in succeeding is perseverance and determination. Now, again, it's hard for us to get our heads around this because we've been told by culture and society forever and ever and ever that there's an in-group and an out-group. And the out-group are never going to succeed because they don't have the in-group's advantages. And yet remember, people that are admitted to the Naval Academy in West Point get there because they get an appointment, and they're often pretty ordinary folks. I remember many zillion years ago, I played sports against a young guy, and he went to Melville High School. He was a nice guy, very athletic, but kind of a regular dude, just like me. And next thing he knew, he was among the people in Missouri who received an appointment. For him, it was West Point. So anyway, that's our story number 1. Grit, perseverance, and determination is the most important ingredient in succeeding, whether you're trying to learn how to read or trying to keep your bed dry when you're 4 years old or 3 years old and it hasn't been going too hot. Okay? So the most important thing, grit, perseverance, determination. So that's point 1. Point 2 is I want to tell you a story about well, I'll just tell you the story and you can draw your own conclusions. And it is a true story. Now, time has passed this story by, but let's put ourselves back when I was a kid, back in 1938, before the war and all, when I was young. But there was a group of Indians who actually were Mexican Indians. They would have been more southern Mexican, so the Yucatan Peninsula down in that area. It was a tribe. The tribe was called the Tarahumara Indians. The Tarahumara Indians were noted for their abilities to run long distances. The Tarahumarans were able to run with little or no impact on their cardiovascular system, so their heartbeat and their general level of strength was not affected after a run as far as 100 miles. Okay, so now let's enjoy, here's the punchline. A sciencey kind of guy, it came to his attention that this tribe existed, and a number of the Tarahumaran Indian runners were actually entered in the 1928 Olympics. You can look this up. And guess what? They didn't even place in the marathon, which is 26 point something miles. And you know why? They thought the 25-mile run was just a warm-up. So,
Can you imagine?
so here's our takeaway. Wherever you think you are in life, wherever you think you are, this is just the warm-up. So if you are willing to show grit, to persevere, to not give up, you will fit in that nice, neat category, the same category that the Tarahumarans fit in, who could run, documented, look it up, 100 miles with little or no impact on their bodies. So be of good cheer. 2015 is going to be a big year for you, and I wish you all the best. And I want to take a hats off, off my bald pate. Hats off to Joe and Grania, of course, sister, for being here, but Joe and Grania for having been the animators behind this organization for a number of years. Y'all, some of y'all got jobs, gotten something to get behind, gotten a reason to get up in the morning, been able to achieve a sense of, I did something that was a necessary service, and this is all because of the generosity and, dare I say, the perseverance or the grit that Joe and Grania have shown. So how about a round of applause?
Now, that would be easy to agree with, but last 40-some days, I have been doing spiritual dialysis, and oh baby, am I in the debt of everyone in this room. The story of that river. Why were we on the river? Because of my campaign. Don't you think? We had done it before. It satisfied every instinct of community building that we wanted. We had a ball. And the afterward is sharing. So Mike, stand up please. Thank you for that instinct of drawing us to the river to allow this miracle to happen. When I came out of that river, I went home, Grania checked me for bruises and stuff, and I just kind of said matter-of-factly, because we left that river early. Remember, we got out early.
Yeah.
We went to Crackerville, and we had a ball, and we played Santa Claus, and everybody got their stuff, and I drove home, and I took a bath, and she counted the number of scars and black and blue marks, and I went to bed. I crashed. The side of my chest started hurting that I just assumed was, from the river. It was as if there was a hand there. Maybe that hand I reached up for. But the following Sunday, I went over to Pat and Jim Zarillo's house, and for 3.5 hours, think of the next 3.5 hours, I talked non-stop. Not crazy, nothing. I just said, I am going, it's just non-stop. Think of what was going on then. You remember? I was going to we were gonna do the thing with Trinity, with that marketing management thing. And so we brought in, Jane had just shocked me, decided to retire. And so we got Jeffrey, and then, you know, Ken came back. What are you doing here, Ken? I didn't know you were coming. So that he was gonna help Jeffrey do his stuff, and then I hired Sue, is that her name? And then he was gonna do it, and they did a whole different thing. We got Bob, and we got Earl, and we got, oh, God, 5 people just, I mean, and I went over to Zarilla's and I talked 3.5 hours about the problems in my life. And at the end of 3.5 hours, I said, you guys have been great. I haven't even got to the big stuff yet. Haven't even got to the fact how our receivables are screwed up, how we haven't filed taxes, how all this thing has imploded on me, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Thanks so much for listening. And then I said, I gotta look for Pat at Mass. Well, he wasn't there. I waited the next week, and so that at meditation, I said to Pat, I need an appointment. I need for me. And so we started the process. Meanwhile, this heart thing, if I walked straight, no problem. But if I went up and downstairs like the Sigma class on Wednesday, I would break out and heat and so forth. And within a month, I was being told, because our son had a heart attack, and my brother-in-law, who was like my dad, had a heart attack. And in talking with them, they told me all the symptoms they had. I said, oh my God, I've been having those. So that very night, when I went to sleep, the pain went down my arm and that. I go to Grania, honey, take me to the hospital. I better get checked out. Within 90 minutes, they said, you're not having a heart attack. You've never had a heart attack. But you've got great medical benefits. We are going to suck you dry. And so they proceeded to go through this whole thing, and then that led to a very exhausting thing that I met with doctors. I did not really confer with Ron or my kids or anything. And there was the way it was presented to me, I was going to play Russian roulette. There were 5 chambers. I'm going to pull the trigger, and I was going to be restored exactly to the life before this whole thing. Everything was going to be fine. One of the chambers, if it went off, I would never have back what I came in with. And he was going to do all this kind of stuff. So we went in, we did the thing, and when I came out of recovery, I said, what time is it? They said 11:30. I said, oh, shoot, it failed. So I stayed in there 3 or 4 hours. Meanwhile, Dr. Pat is over with Grania, like, well, when's he coming out? I said, I'm not coming out. I blew it. I failed. But it didn't work. You know, I really screwed this up. In meeting with the guy, he's a Hindu-based. He's come to the United States to make money. But he said, what you've got is not of this world. He says, let's call it a virus. He says, I think you need a miracle. I said, we'll put you through the protocols to get a new heart. You've got to cross all these steps. But my sense is when we put the heart in you, what's there will go into that heart. So I went home, and I called my good friend Marilyn Boudreau, remember Dane? This is his mother-in-law. And I said, Marilyn, I got to find out where Sister Cecilia is. So she sent me the email. I emailed Sister, and within 90 minutes, she had just gotten back from some South America thing. She was riding kangaroos in Antarctica.
Right.
But that next afternoon, we met at Panera's, and she put her hands on me like that, and I could feel the energy, because we had not done anything for 20, 25 years. Amazing. And on December 7th then, we did the full healing clinic, and as part of that, there was a chakra meditation in which I had an amazing response. And after the Mass, I went back to my bed, I slept like a baby, and I woke up the next morning and there's no pain. There's no pain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So by Thursday I said, there's no pain in that heart. Meanwhile, I was signed up for every test in the world through the great medical system, and so I went through a gamut of that, and that led me to this August weighing 358 pounds where I had cut my caloric intake food in half, put on the CPAP machine, never violated it once, and I gained 7 pounds. So I said, this is not, I don't have this problem. This is not an eat less, exercise more problem. This, I had identified in 2009, I have cellular abuse. I said, I've done all these healing things, I had all this stuff. And I realized I never did my midlife work. I did a lot of stuff, but it all got interrupted because I brought my first wife back to rescue her, and then I didn't rescue me. So I've been out doing this stuff, been doing great stuff with Dr. Pat, great stuff with DeMello and Paul Cortino, all this stuff. But guess who's drowning here? And I found it out through each one of you.
Whoa.
As we would conflict, all the irritant, all in the Birdman, the jellyfish. Well, someday, not soon, we're going to be seeing that together. I'm going to explain the whole symbolism, how I am in the Birdman movie. I am the Birdman. I'm the jellyfish. I'm everything in that movie. But each one of you have saved my life. Every conflict, every time you piss me off, every time, thank you. Now that I learned from Sister back in the 80s, so I knew that. And I've been teaching you the role of the irritant. I've been teaching everyone in this company all the healing, cleaning stuff I learned from her in the 80s. But this new stuff, oh my God, it is amazing. So when you look at that cover, look what's over there. It's the future of heaven. You know, the proof of heaven. It's the future of the brain, the Muchu Puchi Dachi guy, whatever his name is. He's coming here in April. And then we got this placebo guy, whatever his name is. What's the placebo guy? Something like that, Alexander something. Then we got this panache thing that I've been doing the books with you. We start with fear and shame and guilt and so forth. Oh my God, isn't it fun? Oh, it's hell! But we're going to get better. And each one of us is going to gently get better. And we're going to make ourselves better. And we're not going to be looking at others saying, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault, no. But what we are going to do, because Tom is a perfect lovey-dovey for this, you are Gene Farrell, sort of. Because everybody loves Gene Farrell. Everybody. All those that hate Gene Farrell, raise your hand. Everybody that hates Paul Iflin, raise your hand. All right, sorry. Can't close, Paul. In the years of running this company, when people have meltdowns, which are 3 or 4 times a day, and they go to the land of all and nothing and always and never, everybody does, nobody that, never. I said, well, calm down. You really mean Paul Iflin? Oh, I don't mean Paul. Well, you said everybody. Oh, well, exclude him. Well, you mean, oh, well, exclude her too? Well, wait a minute. You just told me everybody. You told me everybody, all, never, all. Okay, so now it's sometimes. Oh, what's really, this is one person that's really pissing me off. Oh, okay, now we got the picture. What a gift to have the quality of those people in this company. So what I'd like to do, would Carlos Gonzalez come up? His spirit remains with us. When Tony Mays comes up, the goodness of Tony still is with us. Would Paul Iflin come up? Come up! Come on, those of you that are the Employee of the Year, please come up. Including Leos, Raya, Everett, Gene, Ken, Mike. Come on, Employees of the Year, come up, please. The reason this crazy scheme that this crazy nun is talking me into and crazy are these people. The goodness of Dane Boudreaux lives on. The goodness that Tony Mace did lives on. The goodness that Carlos Gonzalez did still is with us. The goodness of the Josh Dodsons. The goodness of stuff we've learned from our mistakes. the goodness of Rock Blanks, the goodness of Gary Goins, the Adolf Hitler of this company. It's all been great. You get it? So what's going to happen is when we get together for liturgy on Thursday, because if you want your paycheck as a bonus on Thursday, you must be there. If you're not, if Martians land and stick cucumbers up the butt of your cow, and you're in a meltdown, and anybody would obviously know cucumbers in the butt of a cow, I need my check early. It ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be noon Friday, because that's gonna be a session for me to tell you about what you missed, what was important, and how you are precious to us. And if you dodge that, and you get the check in the box, you're flipping me the bird. Understand that? This process is sacred. If you're sick, you got to take the. I understand. I'm not blaming you. But this has to be the standard that these people, you with us, are going to hear things on Thursday. And you're going to say, so-and-so at Thursday promised to make and keep that commitment, and on Tuesday he failed to do it. We just noted. Just noted. So-and-so ran late. So-and-so didn't properly care for the equipment. So-and-so, whatever we decide we want to improve on, we're going to just make a record. We're not judging. We're not throwing stuff. We're going to make a record. And when you, I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm never late, and I keep care of my equipment, like I am in that opening prayer with Ronnie. We're going to say, cool it down. Cool it down. Everybody makes mistakes. But when the pattern is, you do not fit in here. Because when Dr. Openland and Sister Loomer, Cecilia, when they collectively say, Joe, you are wrecking the company by letting this person stay, they've got to go to the room without their dinner. And we're not talking a week time out or something. We're probably talking a month or like Blake. Blake calls me 3 or 4 times a week, and I say, you only get back in when Sister Seal said, how many times? Well, I haven't seen him. Well, then Blake. That's your, oh, but I got this excuse. Blake, you got feet. You can walk. Oh, okay, I'm going to walk there. Okay, good. You can be there an hour early. I'm going to do that. You get what I'm saying? I'm not just saying anything goes. I'm not saying the $4,000 worth of prizes we spend here is just, oh, we got that money out the wazoo. We did set a record. We did 40-some thousand more business this year than we did last year, and that's a record. In 36 years of this company, it's never happened before. And you know what? Next year we're going to look back on that and say that was a drop in the bucket. We are going to do great. We are going to do great. Because it's not me, it's not my patients, it's you all. You're going to help do this. And if you can't or won't, you're going to be sent to your room like Blake. You're going to be sent out like Kyle. You're going to be sent out like Jonathan didn't come. He didn't think he was welcome to this. And Jonathan just came back Thursday. But that's the deal, guys. We're on this together. If you can behave, calm your inner tiger, read that book, get involved. But I'll tell you, if you've had that book more than a couple weeks and you haven't done anything with it, you probably better look in the mirror and say, you know what? I got to do this. Pat Opalander, what did you just tell him?
Grit.
Grit. It takes grit to take 5 minutes of silence. It takes grit to take 5 minutes of reading. It's really, multitasking to sit on the toilet, relax, and read. It really can happen. Okay, thank you. We are going to start dinner around 3. I want to introduce John Moser. These are our elders. What you don't know is that some people go to Lourdes every year, every 5 years. Some people go to Fatima. John Moser and I go to New York City for healing. John Moser and I are soul brothers. There's about 1 out of 1,000,000 people that do what John and I do in New York City. Because I realize I go to Colorado and climb the mountain and sit there in my prayer rod, and I think about my experience in New York City. And it's not just the place. It's the run-in with the people. It's the crazy person that you buy them dinner and you say, tell me your story. And say, here, now when you get back on your feet, you pay this $20 back. It's that kind of stuff. That's what makes us. This guy gets it. Don't you, John?
I get it, Joe.
Am I letting that cat out of the bag?
No.
2 years ago, you denied that you vacuumed up poop.
No, he didn't.
No, you said you denied it. Now he's going to get up and tell you he really doesn't go to New York and do all that stuff. But this is my soul brother for New York love affair. Come here, John. Now, you get to stand there. Yes. You can talk as long as you want.
What time is dinner? That's nice, right? How is everybody? Good. I made some notes this time.
We is good.
I was hoping, that I get to, because some people sing for their dinner, I talk for their dinner. I have a good friend whose wife got me a book a couple of years ago for Christmas, and it's a really good book. The title of the book is You Know I'm Dead When I Stop Talking. She meant it. But it's a good book besides it. I saw an interview with Lee Trevino a couple weeks ago on the Golf Channel, and it's such a character, such a character. And the guy asked him at 75 how he was doing. He said, I'm doing so good, I can't wait to wake up in the morning to hear what I've got to say. So that's kind of how I feel. We're talking about opportunities. And one of the things that I preach to my clients, I work all over North America, and I work for small businesses, people with less than 100 employees, and service businesses. And what a company does for people, when a company starts and you start hiring people, is you provide opportunities. You don't provide any guarantees, you provide opportunities. So the best way to approach things is with a sense of urgency. If something deserves to get done, then it deserves to get done now. Sense of urgency, very important stuff. And the older you get, the more that sense of urgency comes into view, because the time is getting less. When you're 23, you're going to live forever. When you're 33, you're going to live forever. And when I was 43, I decided I might not live forever, so I quit smoking. It's just kind of reality hits you. Start to come home. This is what you need to do. But just knowing that there's a sense of urgency about what I have to do. So if I combine that with a plan of some sort, a sense of urgency without a plan, it's a car wreck. And running around all over the place without a plan, there's a lot of wasted energy, and you're going to pile it up. But if you have a plan and you have a sense of urgency about that plan, it'll happen. The minute you lose that sense of urgency, the minute it becomes a book that you've had for 2 weeks and haven't opened, there's no urgency to it. Nothing will happen. So the number of people that actually respond to things are very, very few. It's a small percentage. I happened to run into a speaker 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And he spoke for a half an hour, but he hit me right between the eyes. And I read his book, and then I spent the next 3 months every Saturday morning in the U City Library researching what he had written about. And that person changed my life. I went on to start talking about it, and I spoke, I don't know how many different groups of people about that, and it's called, and it's just the sense that you're in charge. There's nobody in charge of me but me. And in reality, that's what it is. I'm in charge. And I can get all the guidance I want. I can get guidance from above and guidance from around me, but I'm still in charge. I'm making all the decisions. So where I am, there's another book called Wherever You Go, There You Are. Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. Wherever you go, there you are. That's just what happens. And so I have to make sure I'm going someplace that's going to benefit me and those that I'm responsible for and those that are around me. So that's what we try to do. So after I had gone through this and made a couple presentations and was feeling really good, and I called this guy, his name is Dennis Deaton, and I said, Dennis, you're not gonna remember me, but I ran into you in Colorado Springs about a year and a half ago. He said, yeah, I remember that session. I said, you changed my life. You got my attention. And I said, what percentage of people do you have that kind of effect on? He said to me, John, he said, how many people do you think were in that room? A couple of hundred? He said, that sounds about right. He said, I'm pretty sure you're the only one. That's how it works. That's how it works. When everybody's sitting in church on Sunday, there's 500 people in church on Sunday, and by the time you hit the parking lot, a lot of them have lost the spirit. You know?
Yep.
And by the time you get home, most of us have lost the spirit. Next morning, precious few are still walking around. So it's just kind of an observation on life, if you will, if you understand that. So when you grab onto something, you have an opportunity, make the most of it. Don't let it go. So what exists here is a great community of people. This has always been a great community of people, even though the faces are different. There's a few faces. Precious couple up here. I love being invited back here year after year, because I get to see the same. I get to see this group, this community, and it's a good community. Now, not everybody fits, as Joe was saying. Not everybody will fit. That's got to be okay too. But if the nucleus keeps growing, and that's what it takes for the company to really blossom, boom, the nucleus has to grow, and the world has to change. Opportunities are given to all of us. It's what we do with it. That's up to us. What we do with it. I've had many of opportunities in my life. Some of them I didn't do too well. And they come in all shapes and forms in all parts of your life. But if you give someone an opportunity, or if you're the receiver of that opportunity, make the most of it. Push it as far as you can. And you might amaze yourself. You might amaze your spouse. You might amaze your family. You might amaze your friends. And all of a sudden you're rising. Everybody says, what's he doing? What's she doing? How come the rest of us are real comfortable right here? That's okay. But I'm rising. Just please know that. Sometimes there are people who are memorable in a good way. Anybody ever been memorable in a bad way?
Oh, yeah.
One of the things I teach a lot of salespeople. One of the things I teach them is to be memorable in a good way. People always want you back. People that make you laugh, that make you smile, you want to be around them. So I want to be memorable in a good way. And there's a gentleman who spoke right before me who that's one of his strong suits. He's memorable in a good way. Very outspoken, very plain spoken. I mean, come on. On the pot, reading the book. Thank you, Joe. The infinite multitasker. But see the benefit in all those things. It amazes me. So these things that I've mentioned, they're cornerstones. In many, many success stories, where somebody gets pulled into a place like this, where they walk in the door unknowing, and they're just looking for a job, and all of a sudden the opportunity there is to change your life. More than just a job.
Nobody like that, Rufus? Those are his exact words.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if I have that, but it's very few people that take advantage. Know that. That's important. That's the slap in the face. That's the slap in the face. There's a movie called Moonstruck. Anybody see that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. What a great movie. Cher deserved an Academy Award for that movie. Oh my goodness. When she slaps Nicolas Cage across the face because he's still complaining about his lost arm, she slaps him and screams at him, "Get over it!" And some of us have to do that. We have to get over it. So you have a group of 25 people, whoever is in here, And it would just be nice if more than one or two actually took hold of this and took this opportunity and did something. Success, personal improvement in some significant way. So how many people read 3 books a year? How many people are always reading a book? How many people are always trying to improve themselves as a result of the book they're reading? Yeah. It's amazing. Once you start it, and once you see the change in yourself, and it really takes hold, and then other people, the best thing you can do for somebody that's changed is walk up and tell them about it. Tell them about it. It's amazing the difference it can be made. What scares me in the business I'm in is I get up in front of a group like this or any kind of a group and you start rattling off at the mouth. And I'm very concerned about what I don't know, because I don't know what I don't know. How am I going to find that out? I don't go to school anymore, formal school. I got to read. I got to find interesting people to hang around and to talk to. You know, and all those interesting people. Isn't it amazing? When I was a kid, I was cool. I had to be cool. I saw a show the other night where the father said to the son, the teenage boy and the 45-year-old dad, says, that was cool. Yeah, what you said was cool. And the son said, no, Dad, only one of us is cool. That's just the way it is. You know, very few people in my life that I look at that were cool all the way through. Frank Sinatra was one of them. I always thought he was cool, you know? But it's just that idea. But the truth of the matter is that the nerds are going to inherit the world. Just the way that it is. So if we know that, then it's okay. So, but just, if you can look for something to significantly improve your own life, or even better yet, to significantly improve somebody else's life, man, that's the real deal. So if I could just leave you with this thought, when you're pulling on the driveway every morning, if you can have this one thought, I'm going to help somebody today. It might be somebody you're working with. It might be somebody stranded along the road. It might be the most insignificant thing. It doesn't have to be big, but I'm going to help somebody today. You're going to feel real good at the end of the day. This is great being here with you guys again. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me give you a heads up. Dinner is ready. After dinner, we'll start the first verse of Amazing Grace. It'll be about 3. Okay, you can keep eating until you're done. We're going to start the first award. We'll show you how this works. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
I was to symbolize it, I would say it wouldn't be 50 bars, but I would say it would be about 200. When I started here, because before I came here, I was a totally different person. I actually don't even look at this as a job. I look at it as an opportunity to better yourself. Like I was having a conversation with Travis the other day, and I was telling him some things about Joe, and then he finally realized, he told me that after sitting down and talking with him, he actually realized that Joe is really out to better people. He's not out to get rich. But I've been telling him that for as long as he's been here. So I would say if it was my symbolization, I would have a couple bars for how my life changed from before I worked here to after.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
This lady has been at like the March on Washington. She's done a lot of neat stuff with the black movement. Go ahead, Jean. She is she's 120 years old. So.
Still stepping, right?
Still stepping. Up two more. Jean, up 2 more steps. That's where the light is. And then the camera will get you.
Yeah.
Joe shared this picture with me about a month ago, and I was just moved by the simplicity. It's a very simple vision, and it is pretty representative of that Mandela was a very humble person, but then it's a very powerful representation as well, and it represents Mandela's integrity, and it also, if the 50 poles, maybe, I don't quite understand why 50 poles. Do you know?
Yeah.
What?
She told me earlier.
Okay, what's?
She's gonna speak.
Okay.
She'll tell
Oh,
us
okay,
her thing.
but, knowing Mandela and that he was imprisoned and that he overcame all this and was able to exit from prison with such dignity and integrity, and actually advocating for the perpetuation of love and allowing South Africans to have to realize their humanity and their dignity. This is just a very powerful statement. Now, I had visited in D.C. MLK's memorial as well, and that's a powerful representation. But this one, this just grabs you and won't let you go, for sure.
Blows me away.
Yeah. So thank
All right.
you, Joe, for sharing that.
Come on up. You know how hard it is to public speak. Here is a 14-year-old. No, you gotta be up there. Oh, 12. Oh, very wow. Snuck you in as a 14-year-old. Okay, you got your letters yet, so we can see you.
Could I just stand up here?
Great, go up 2 more. Can you get her, Ken?
Yeah,
We want to
Okay.
see a purple hair up there. When you
All
come
the
down
better.
here, to look, watch as she comes down so you know.
Could you just go up and down a few times?
If you insist. I believe that it means because Nelson Mandela, he came up from nothing, and he was always the small kids, and what do you think of? You think of a stick, and you think of poles as very long sticks. And sticks are generally very, very, very fragile and breakable. But Nelson Mandela is I'm terrible at public speaking.
Yes, doing fine.
Great.
But it shows that some sticks end up being stronger than they look. And even though he might have came up from nothing, he became something more than he ever hoped to be.
What's the 50 poles symbolize? You told me.
So, years of wrongful imprisonment.
Yep.
But if you notice, when you look at the thing, only about 10 degrees you see Mandela. Everywhere else you go, you just see a bunch of poles. But it gets into focus. All right, who else wanted to speak?
Great job, too.
Okay, you can keep eating until you're done. We're going to start the first award, and we'll show you how this works. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. till you're done. We're going to start the first award, and we'll show you how this works. Amazing